Y'all, not Blu Cantrell allegedly having a secret love child with Jay-Z. And now the streets are saying Beyoncé made sure the world never found out. Word is, back in the early 2000s when Blu and Jay were entangled, things got way deeper than anybody imagined. Their connection wasn't just a casual fling. There are now claims that Blu actually gave birth to Jay's child. And Beyoncé allegedly pulled every string possible to keep it hidden. But here's the wildest part. Insiders say this child is still being kept out of the spotlight to this very day, and not by accident. Allegedly, Beyoncé made it clear that if Blu ever came forward, the consequences would be brutal. So now the question is, was this just a rumor that spiraled out of control, or was Blu's silence for real? And what does Jay-Z actually own about his past behavior? Because when you start connecting the dots, things look real suspicious. See, one thing about Beyoncé, she doesn't play when it comes to Jay-Z. And if anybody learned that the hard way, it was Blu Cantrell. Way back when Jay and Bey were just starting to pop out as a couple, there were quiet whispers that Jay was also seeing Blu on the side. At first, people brushed it off as just another messy industry rumor. But now, with these new reports, it's starting to look like their relationship was way more serious. Allegedly, Blu didn't just have a fling, she got pregnant. And when Beyoncé found out, let's just say things got handled. The story goes that Blu was pressured to keep everything quiet, and the baby was kept completely out of the spotlight to protect Jay and Beyoncé's image. But the real plot twist? Blu allegedly kept the child, which would mean Jay-Z may have more secret kids than the world knows about. And once Beyoncé allegedly found out, Blu's career took a nosedive. Some say it wasn't a coincidence, that her momentum wasn't just lost, it was shut down. Think about it. 1 minute Blu had a hit record buzzing everywhere, and the next? Gone. Vanished from the industry. Now people are looking back at that sudden fall-off in a whole new light, wondering if the alleged love child was the reason Blu disappeared. And fans have been clocking this tea for years. In the late 90s and early 2000s, Blu and Jay had a strong connection. Strong enough that folks started wondering if there was more going on than just music. Remember, Blu was already moving in industry circles, doing background vocals for big names like Diddy. That's how she ended up crossing paths with Jay-Z. From there, the chemistry was undeniable, and people noticed. Here's where it gets messy. While Jay was spending time with Blu, he was also actively chasing Beyoncé, and it wasn't a secret. So why was he keeping Blu so close? According to insiders, Jay had just taken a big emotional hit after things with Aaliyah didn't work out. And when Beyoncé came along, he wasn't ready to put all his eggs in one basket. That's where Blu came in, allegedly his backup plan, just in case things with Beyoncé didn't pan out. And if you look back, it's not hard to see why people found the situation suspicious. Jay kept playing a double game, even as things heated up with Beyoncé. Blu, for her part, kept insisting nothing was going on, but nobody was really buying it. Especially not Beyoncé. From the outside, Blu looked like she was trying to sidestep the mess. She didn't want to be labeled the third wheel. But her closeness with Jay kept sparking rumors, and the speculation only got louder after her infamous interview with Wendy Williams. And y'all already know, Wendy in her prime was ruthless. She asked Blu point-blank if she was messing with Jay-Z. And while Blu denied it on camera, her energy told a different story. Her words said no, but her vibe said maybe. And from that moment, the whispers never stopped.
You know what? I am used to talking to other female artists who perhaps don't have that same eye.
You know what? And I don't knock it, because my mother did it.
Have you ever kissed Jay-Z romantically?
No. No, I can't answer that. I can't answer that.
He's touching above the neck. Look! You see?
Why do people not want to let the Jay-Z Blu Cantrell thing go?
Now, Blu definitely could have handled that Wendy Williams moment 100 different ways better. She could have shut it down clean, flipped it back on Wendy, or even taken the high road and just moved on. But laughing it off and dodging the question? That was probably the worst thing she could have done. Instead of putting the rumors to rest, she made them louder. But the wildest part wasn't even her weak denial. It was what came next. Wendy, being Wendy, didn't stop at the love triangle. She threw out a theory that had already been floating around for years. Maybe Jay-Z chose Beyoncé simply because she was younger. And instead of brushing it off or sidestepping like most guests would, Blu leaned all the way in. She didn't just agree, she doubled down. According to Blu, age had nothing to do with it. She claimed Jay was never looking for someone who could stand as his equal. What he wanted was someone naive, someone easier to mold. And in her words, that's exactly what he saw in Beyoncé.
On the radio, I didn't think it would last, though.
What, me and him?
Yeah,
Why?
because you're above 25.
Why? He needs somebody younger than
At
that?
the end of the day, yup.
Why did you say that?
Because I think at the end of the day, a younger, less savvy to the ways of the world broad.
Somebody a little bit more naive.
You said it, not me.
You could have.
Do you know what I mean? Do you-
Good at making me say things.
Yeah, I just thought that you were too.
I mean, I think that they're great for each other. So I don't knock it. I can't hate.
But things only got messier when Blu sat down for an interview with The Guardian. When asked directly about Beyoncé, instead of shutting the conversation down, Blu gave an answer that made everything 10 times worse. She said, "I'm an adult. She's younger. And if she's doing what you're saying, then she's being a little immature. Maybe she's just doing it for press. But she needs to understand, if she goes there with me, it's the wrong move. She needs to know what she's doing and what she's getting into." Blu even tried to drag Jay into the mess, saying, "If she is being negative, she doesn't need to be because she's a beautiful girl. But if you got issues with your man, take it up with him. Don't come for the woman. That's never the right way to handle it." And that's when it became clear. Whatever was brewing between Blu and Beyoncé wasn't just some petty industry cattiness. There was something deeper going on behind the scenes. At the time, nobody knew what that something was. But now, with the streets whispering that Beyoncé allegedly forced Jay-Z to deny a secret child with Blu, and even turned around and ended Blu's career, suddenly, all the puzzle pieces start to connect. And honestly, it's no wonder Blu's been holding on to that grudge all these years. Now here's where it gets real messy, because this wouldn't be the first time Beyoncé has been accused of pushing Jay-Z to deny his outside kids. Word is, she's made it crystal clear that the only children Jay should publicly acknowledge are the ones they had together. And after the couple admitted Jay-Z did cheat, the pressure allegedly got even heavier. The last thing Beyoncé wanted was the world seeing another woman's child attached to the Carter legacy. Y'all remember Ramir Satterthwaite, right? Jay-Z's alleged secret son who's been fighting for recognition for over a decade. Well, Ramir and his guardian, Dr. Lily, have long claimed that Beyoncé was working right alongside Jay behind the scenes to bury the truth. According to investigative reporter Liz Crokin, this wasn't just a baseless rumor. Ramir and Dr. Lily say they were threatened for years, not just with legal intimidation, but with violence. They even claimed Ramir was shot at after filing a civil suit against Jay-Z. Dr. Lily believes Beyoncé wasn't just aware of everything. She allegedly helped pressure Jay into ignoring the situation and keeping it buried. Liz Crokin even suggested that Beyoncé and Jay-Z mocked Ramir in their lyrics, turning his real-life pain into punchlines. And after years of alleged harassment and threats from Beyoncé's camp, Ramir and Dr. Lily finally sat down with Crokin for an explosive tell-all, determined to expose the situation once and for all.
He needs to stop, make this case go away. The Beyoncé thing came when a friend of mine who knew her, somebody in her camp, and she said something supposedly, this is all hearsay, about regarding saying Ramir needs to go away little boy, something to that effect. There was something out there with the song they made. And then next thing I know, somebody was at my property.
His guardian went even further, revealing that multiple insiders had told her it was Beyoncé herself who kept getting in Jay-Z's ear about refusing the DNA test. According to them, Beyoncé allegedly made it clear that even entertaining the idea of testing would be a bad look for the Carter brand. She didn't want whispers turning into headlines, and she certainly didn't want anyone questioning the image of their perfect family. The allegation was that Beyoncé wasn't just passively standing by. She was actively protecting her empire. Every move, every denial, every silence, insiders claimed, had her fingerprints all over it. And when you start connecting the dots, the timing of the threats, the career roadblocks, and even the lyrical subliminals, It paints a picture of Beyoncé not just as a superstar, but as the gatekeeper of Jay-Z's legacy.
Weeks later, somebody did. From that time, we heard it.
Right.
This whole case crazy.
Right. I mean, it could be a coincidence, may not be. Who knows? But
that's
people
why I
were
said
saying that she's a big part of the problem for him, and some of the things that she was doing, a woman would not. She would have some sort of role in what her husband does. And if she was secure with herself and with the situation, not saying you gotta like it, she would help her husband handle it.
Right.
Because this is a Black community. This is a Black man. Yeah. Ramir is Black.
Ramir is Black, and that's where things get really suspicious. After fighting for over 15 years to get Jay-Z to take a DNA test, a judge finally ordered it. This was the moment Ramir had been waiting for. But out of nowhere, he suddenly filed a motion to drop the entire lawsuit, without any explanation. Now the streets are saying that Beyoncé allegedly stepped in again, right when Jay-Z was about to be forced to give a DNA sample. The theory is that she found a way to intimidate Ramir into backing down, whether through legal pressure, threats, or something else behind the scenes. Whatever happened, it worked, because the case was dropped and the truth about Jay-Z's alleged son never came to light. But Ramir wasn't the only one making headlines. A few years ago, another alleged child of Jay-Z came forward, a woman named Letitia Mercer. And she didn't just drop vague hints, she went all the way public with it. In a bold post she wrote, "I've been quiet for far too long. Join me as I tell you my story of living in the shadows of being Jay-Z's daughter in a city where everyone knew he was my father." To back up her story, Letitia claimed she had already taken a DNA test that confirmed Jay-Z as her biological father. In her words, "Fact number 1, it was just confirmed with Ancestry DNA. They have a 99% accuracy. Fact number 2, I'm now coming forward because of fact number 1. Fact number 3, my mother tried to reach out to him. Child support doesn't work the same for celebrities as it does for your baby daddy." She was ready to come forward with receipts, and unlike Ramir, she had multiple people who knew the real story and were prepared to back her up. But then suddenly, she went completely silent. Out of nowhere, her posts were deleted, her social media was wiped clean, and just like that, she disappeared. Well, according to some of her close friends who spoke out weeks later, that wasn't a coincidence. They claimed she had been paid off behind the scenes. And honestly, it tracks, because if there's one thing about Miss Beyoncé, it's that she does not play about protecting the picture-perfect image she's built. Any hint of outside kids, broken loyalty, or unfinished drama, she's allegedly shutting it down before it even makes a headline. So while Letitia might have managed to secure her payday, Blu Cantrell wasn't so lucky. And now we have to wonder, if Blu really did have Jay-Z's child, would Beyoncé ever allow the world to know? That's the real question. Suddenly, Blu's fall from fame, the tension with Beyoncé, and the whispers about a hidden child that never went away all start to make sense. Whether you believe Blu was silenced or not, the pattern is impossible to ignore. Jay-Z's alleged outside kids keep popping up, and somehow, they keep vanishing just as fast. But here's the chilling question. How far will Beyoncé go to keep her empire spotless? Because if Blu really had Jay-Z's baby, and Beyoncé really buried it, then this wasn't just a fling. It was a full-blown scandal that got erased before it could explode. And if that makes you wonder who else got paid off, silenced, or forced into the shadows just to protect the Carter brand, then this story might sound wild, but it's far from over. Music.